Today on the DJ Beloved podcast, I have someone with me that I consider a friend, a brother in entertainment, my Jersey brother. This man, I've watched him go from small venues to my TV screen right before my eyes. I don't want to do too much name dropping on who he's worked with. I'll let him tell you his resume. I'll let him tell you, who he's worked with and who he's shared stages and arenas with. But, it's time for us as brothers to start giving each other our flowers. So I figured I'd bring him on to do just that. So none other than my brother, the incomparable Jonathan Martin, right here at the DJ Beloved podcast.
Yes, sir. DJ Beloved. It's my pleasure, man.
So, listen, man, we ain't really, script this thing out today. We just said, we gonna just talk. We just gonna have a good conversation, and we gonna talk about some real topics, man. What goes on behind the scenes and off stage, and outside of the DJ booth and things like that. So let's start with where you from. You from Hillside, New Jersey.
Let's jump right into it. Yeah, I'm from Hillside, New Jersey, man. I'm a Jersey boy, born and raised. Went to Hillside High School, went to grade school all through Hillside. That's pretty much where it all started.
Hey,
Class clown, the whole nine.
it's funny you say that because you know how they have those different ratings in high school and you
Yeah.
put it in the yearbook.
Yeah.
I definitely
Superlatives.
was. Yeah. I was definitely the class clown.
Okay,
Montclair
all right.
High. And it's funny because one of your other comedic brothers, Big Boy Haas,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
he's been trying to pull me on stage for some years.
Okay.
And
all right.
I refuse. It's not my thing, but I call myself in the moment funny.
Right.
You know?
It's a difference when you got it, when you put on the spot, and people, you have to make people laugh.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I learned that quick.
Yeah.
Learned that real quick.
And see, that's the thing about it. It's like what you can do in a moment's time may not be something that you can turn into a career.
Right.
It don't always
I
work
always
like
been
that.
kind of, I was always the silly guy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I really got good, probably, because we used to, in Jersey, we call it hiking, snapping. They call it jonesing, whatever. So that was my thing, you know what I mean? Kids used to tease me all the time, and I was like, oh, okay. You ain't gonna get that on. So
Still sharp and still.
Yeah. So I was the king of that. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to say things and people not get mad and be laughing with me.
Right.
So that was a talent that I had. You know what I mean? So it was always, and I know how it makes me feel when I laugh. So I'm like, if everybody could feel this feeling that I get.
Right.
I remember my older cousin, Rod Tompkins. We used to spend the night, when you young. Cousins go over cousins' house and spend the weekend.
That's actually a lost part of
Yeah.
the family, but
So, we used to be, and he's older than me, and we used to just laugh all night long and Jones and hike on each other. And it was the best thing ever. So, that was my introduction to humor. And then after that, it just kind of took off.
nice.
Posting shows. I got in some trouble early on in high school. And then that was in the 90s.
Damn.
Yeah, that was in the 90s. So it was a little wild back then. But, I played football for 1 year. I knew I wasn't going to the league.
What year you came out?
I came out 96.
Oh, so we are exactly the same age.
Yeah, came out 96.
Mm.
So I knew I wasn't going to the league, and I wasn't going to waste my time anymore. So this was the only God-given talent that I had. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So I ended up going into the comedy world, man.
that's what's up. And a few of y'all from Hillside
Yeah,
went that
yeah.
route.
Me and my boy Naeem.
Yeah.
Naeem, man, we graduated together.
That's what I'm saying.
We
So,
actually went to kindergarten together.
wow. So, because you know I'm tight with it.
Yeah.
With, you know, I got a Hillside family
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
you know, that mean me, you, Ray,
Yeah,
Naeem, like
everybody
we
same
all,
age.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when was the first time you stepped on stage? And because it's one thing to say, you know, I'm gonna go do this comedy thing.
Right.
It's another thing to step on stage and be put in a position where it's like, oh, hold up, this is real.
The first time I got on stage, I hosted a talent show. Well, the first time that I did stand up, because stage is, you know, I was hosting shows, and then I had got in, you know, in school, like the teachers would, you know, they couldn't control the class if I was in there, because I was happy.
And then I'm thinking, and now I'm thinking to myself, like you, Ray, Naeem, all in the same graduating class, that had to be hell.
Ray was actually a year behind us. He graduated, he came out in 97, I believe.
No, Ray graduated in '96.
No, he didn't come out in 96. He came out in 97. I'm sure, I'm positive. He came out in 97.
We all born '78.
I know that. But he graduated in 97.
All right. Well,
I'm telling you,
big shout, Ray Miles. You know, he's that boy was something else on that football field.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, no, he came out in 97.
But what was that moment when it was like, oh, this for real? Like, I'm really doing this. Like,
Well, I actually went, so I got a unique story. I actually, they voted me class clown. So I come down to the guidance counselor's office one day. It's my senior year. And she's got a poster on the wall. And by this time, I'm like, you know, I need to start, you know, doing something, because people were like, yo, you need to be on TV. So I come downstairs, I'm trying to figure out what school I'm gonna go to. She got a poster on the wall that says Ringling Brothers Clown College auditions. So I'm like, what? So I'm joking around. I'm like, yeah, I should go audition for that. She's like, nah, go ahead, why not? So at this time, I'm auditioning for commercials, doing all kind of stuff. So they had an audition over at Madison Square Garden. So I ended up going to the garden, do the audition, whatever the case is. You know, over there, this is just a joke. Like, this is just something to do. Because I got us, like, all through high school, I was getting in trouble. I was wilding. That was the whole 90s stolen car era.
oh, okay, yeah.
Right. So,
yeah. You was having fun.
Right, exactly. So, you know. So anyway, I go over there. There's thousands of people auditioning and whatever the case is. I'm like, why don't y'all really take this serious? Like, it's people from Germany all over the place. So I do the audition. It's all improv. I end up getting a call back, and they let you know, they're like, we're only taking 36 people to go to this school. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I got my whole summer like planned out. Greek Fest. We going to Philly. You know, we hit the ball.
It's the '90s in Jersey.
Virginia Beach,
Yeah.
Belmar. This is my senior year, like,
Right.
you know. So, long story short, I get accepted into this school. I'm the only black that, you know.
Oh,
gets
wow.
in. So, go down there. So I come back and I'm like, you know, once I find out that I'm accepted, I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? Cause I'm like, I'm out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm out in the streets. I'm graduating school. Like, you know, it's that time. So my boy, his cousin told me, he's like, yo, just go do it. What else you doing? He's like, you know, same jokers will be here doing the same thing when you get back.
When you get back, right?
Yeah, it's my boy Haas. He ended up passing away, but his cousin Omar is the one that told me that, and probably saved my life, man. You know what I mean? So ended up doing that. So I come back. Then I find out they got the Black Circus. That's when that Soul Circus.
Oh, okay, Universal Soul Circus.
They was
all right.
they was just starting to pop back then. So I ended up going with them. I'm like, oh, we it's all Black Circus? Like us? So I ended up going with them for a little while. At the same time, I'm doing commercials. I'm, you know, doing all kind of stuff. So then I'm like, you know what? I started to really take the stand-up serious. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right. So I left that alone. I went on tour with them. You know, I was writing for them and doing all kind of stuff. And then I was like, you know I'm gonna start, you know, really taking the stand-up thing serious.
That's an art I've always wanted to get into. Comedic writing.
Yeah.
Like, what happens in those writing rooms? Because it looks like a ball to me. Like when I mean, we the same age, so you come from the same era as me, so you understand what it feels like to watch a Martin episode and watch them fall apart on camera because it's that funny.
Right. So
Like-
you got different type of comedy writers. So you got writers that write stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
You got writers that write television. You know, that are TV writers. You got, like, comedy is a business. So you got people that even write cards. Like, when you go to CVS and get a Hallmark card, it's somebody that writes
Yeah.
those funny things in there. So comedy writing. So then you figure out what kind of comedy writers. So there's people that do stand-up and they're writers. There's
This is
guys
deep.
that only do writing. Then you got, you know, like, say for instance, if you're writing for a comedian, you have to be able to write for their voice. You understand what I'm saying? So, like,
I mean, yeah, it's like songwriting.
right. It's like songwriting.
Right.
You understand? So, like, you know, I've written for Tracy Morgan. I've written, you know, for certain people. So you have to be able to capture that person's voice and their, you know, their point of view. So, you know, in our game, point of view is very important. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, the comedians that really make it, they have an extreme, you know, have a very clear point of view.
Nice.
So industry people want to know about your point of view.
Okay.
You understand? Because a lot of times, you know, a lot of comedians don't make it because the writers can't write for them. So if you come to my show and I'm only talking about people in the front row, how can you write a TV show for me when you don't know who I am?
Right.
See, let's say Kev, right? Kevin Hart. You know who he is as a person.
Right.
You know how he thinks. He's, you know what I mean? So if you had to create a TV show, you already
That's
know.
yeah. I see what you're saying now.
You see
yeah.
what I'm saying? Because he talks about it in his stand-up.
Right.
He's he's a short guy. He talks about himself. You know who his friends are. You know
Right.
his wife. You know his kids. You can create a show around that.
Right.
You understand?
Okay.
So then you got comedians that don't really give you that. So, you know, when it comes to comedy, you got guys that are great storytellers, and then you got guys that have an extreme or really unique point of view.
Right.
So some guys do comedy and they talk about current events. Some guys are great storytellers. Richard Pryor, great storyteller.
Yeah.
Rich was, you know, what made him so special is he could talk to you on the stage and make you feel like he was just sitting in his living room just talking.
And it's funny because I just said that. He had that style where it's like he could bounce around through different topics
Yeah.
because he's just talking to you.
And then you got guys like George Carlin or Dave Chappelle who they talk about what's happening right now and are able to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, you got guys like Chris Rock. Chris is a genius when it comes to just writing and, you know, his material and his delivery because he gets in the nooks and crannies. So our game is like every other game. You got guys, we're all professional,
Right.
but then you got your LeBrons and your KDs.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
it's the cream that rises to the top. It's
Right.
like, damn. It's like when people see LeBron when he's in his zone, it's you in the league,
Right.
but it's like, yo, when I watch these guys
Yeah.
go in their bag, it's like, man, I gotta go back to the pad. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like Chappelle, he just hosted SNL.
That was a good 15 minutes
That
right
was,
there.
that was classic.
That was a good 15 minutes right there.
Right. When we see that, that's the equivalent of a pro ball player seeing LeBron in the playoffs losing and just take the whole team and carry it on his team. Like, yo,
I got
this
it.
guy's like,
Yeah, because what impresses me is the timing of it.
right.
Like, that's fast. To be able to write a 15-minute monologue about all of the stuff that's happening this week.
Right.
People don't realize that takes a certain level of talent. Like,
It takes a certain level of talent. It takes a certain level of confidence. It takes a certain level of being aware of what's going on. I mean, he's just that good. You know what I mean? And he's, you know, at a place where he can't be canceled.
and that's the dopest part for me because in this cancel culture, it's like you can't be human.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he's showing that it's like, yeah, nah.
But
Like,
see, he's not in bed with anybody. He doesn't have sponsors. He doesn't have the studios. He doesn't have, and he doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like, he turned down, what was it,
50 million. And it's like he did this, the smartest thing he did.
And if you don't want him to perform in your theater, his club, he went out to Ohio, where he live at, and opened up, put a stage there, and you can come see him in the middle of a cornfield.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. The smartest thing he did, though, was the fact that he made his cost of living so small that it's like living the way he lives, he could probably live the rest of his life with money that he has already and then still not touch some of it. So then you get to a space where you're doing things that you want to do.
Right.
You're not taking gigs because you need the money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's total freedom. Like, you know what I mean? And, you know, he talks about it, and, you know, for us, that's our art. People pay to come see us and see our opinion.
Right.
But now, because of, you know, the cancel culture, it's a lot of things that people can get canceled. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He's just situated himself where he's uncancelable. You can't cancel somebody like that. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't
need
have
anything.
to have it, so he can talk about whatever he wants, when he wants, and how he wants. You know, so you know, for us, that's true freedom, because a lot of us can't.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you were in a movie, or if you got a TV show, or you have these things going on, that's your source of income.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you know, you get cut off of that,
You done up.
you done. You know, so you know that's what makes it so interesting. Even what we see what's going on right now with the Kyrie situation. This is
Kanye.
history. You know, like a lot of guys can't do that, or don't have, you know, had a heart to do that, because you got to think about it. When you're not working, how many people eat off of your back? How many houses?
He's
your
the
mother,
closest
your
thing
kids?
to Muhammad Ali we've seen since Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Because he's put himself in the same position, basically.
Very, very,
Like-
you know, but he took the risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Muhammad said, I ain't going to no draft.
Right.
And he sat on it.
risked it all.
He sat. He had to sit.
He risked
And,
it all.
you know. So, yeah, no, I commend Kyrie for that. It's crazy because you're touching on topics that I would have, if I would have had a script, and you've answered 3 questions already.
Man, listen, we out here talking, baby. We
Yeah.
doing it, man. I'm just
Yeah.
happy to be here in the BPM zone. You know? That's what it is. I'm a house head, man. I'm
Yeah,
a big house.
yeah.
You know, I'm a Jersey boy, and it's crazy because when I travel, you know, when we on tour, whatever the case is, I always look for, like, you know, different house
Right.
events, house venues, but you know, like Chicago.
Yes.
You know, Chicago, Baltimore,
Mm-hmm.
like those are like 2 cities that I know
You can find something to do.
that you're gonna find some house. You know, they understand the culture. You know, probably LA, they might have it
LA.
here and there.
Absolutely.
So you know,
Cali, Perry, Oakland. You got Oakland.
Yeah.
You got LA. You got San Fran.
dude, I was on tour. I'm in San Diego, and you know, San Diego. That's the Navy. I guess the Navy. The Navy's got a headquarters out
I
there.
don't know.
Yeah, the Navy's got a base out there. So,
Okay, yeah.
So I believe it's the Navy. But one of the military, I believe it's the Navy, I want to say. But anyway, so I'm out there. I get invited to this party. I walk in, and they in there banging the house music. And I'm like, yo, we in the middle of San Diego. I'm like, what's going on? Where are we? They playing everything. So the dude who the party was for, it was his house from Chicago. So I
There
was
you
like,
go. Okay.
So now we in there, we going all night, bro, all night in San Diego. Yeah, so I'm a house head. I went to South Africa. That blew my mind.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing too. People don't realize, like, even like with Deion Cole, man. It's funny because he hit me up. Like, I didn't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
He hit me up on Instagram randomly, like, yo, dude, I'm a huge fan of yours. And I'm like, I'm looking at my phone like, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Big shout out to Dion, man. That's my man.
And then, Jahad was like, yeah, I bumped into a dude in the airport and he was talking to me. I'm like, so that, and I was watching him DJ. I'm like, yo, nah, dude really play.
Oh yeah, nah.
So he really liked that. So we start conversing, and we working on some things. That's all I'm gonna say. But I don't want to give it to him too early. It's gonna be something that we all do together.
Yeah,
But
in Chicago here, man. Good people.
Yeah, but he's really a house head as well. But I find that DJs, comedians, and artists, music artists, all share this space where it's like we're all funny as hell. Like when you just put us all in a room, like.
No, it's too much, man. It's we out the box. We think
it's
outside
funny
the box.
as
We
hell.
entertainers. You know what I mean? It's just that it comes out different ways. You know what I mean? Your genius comes out a different way, but when we all together, you can't you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's your personality. So.
Yeah, I always found that it was like, all these jokers is funny as hell. It's like even like I said, like with Haas, man, I used to host a comedy night, not host like MC, but at a venue I was hosting. And I would just have Haas cracking up, when it would just be us just hanging out.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Yeah.
You was producing
Galveston.
the show over at the Galveston.
Right.
Yes, DJ Beloved is a comedy producer, if you may.
So,
add that to the resume.
Yeah,
he produced comedy shows. DJ Beloved.
So, he was like, yo, Beloved, for real, just give me 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. I said, bruh, I ain't got no 5 minutes in front of you. And he like, dude, you just sat here and gave me 20. He was like, just go up there and say all of what you. I said, that happened in the moment. This joker walked in the door and said something stupid. Right. I responded. It was in the moment funny. Right. And he was like, yo, dude, I'm telling you, if you ever decide to change hats, I want to be one of the first. I was like, but yeah, no, man. If I could get past this stuff,
No, man, I definitely get it, man. It's like we were talking about earlier, kind of straight off the subject about writing or whatever the case is. But you got guys that are strict, that write comedy. So,
like Harry.
Right, Harry. Big shout out to my man Harry Ratchford, Joey Wells. So these guys.
Yeah, because I never see them really on stage.
Yeah, well, I mean they've been fortunate that they don't have to do. They don't. No, I'm just kidding. They don't do stand-up anymore. Well, Joey, they still hit the stage from time to time.
Okay.
But now they've kind of moved on. They're, doing a lot more Heartbeat. They actually started their own production company. So, they moved on to writing scripts and TV stuff. And, they still, of course, help Kev with writing and things like that. So, a lot of people ask, what comedy writers do. You know what I mean? So, when you get big enough, guys have writers. A lot of Richard Pryor had writers. Paul Mooney was one of his writers. A lot of large comedians have writers. So what writers do, they actually help enhance what you're already doing. So 3 or 4 brains are always going to be better than one brain.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So even when guys host the Oscars, Chris Rock hosts the Emmys or this or that or whatever these shows are, they have writers. There's a budget for the writers because these guys have to come up with material. So, if I had writers or I hired writers, I would have them come, watch me, do my set, and as I'm doing my set, they sit in the back and they, take notes. And then they be like, all right, well, that was funny. But you know what? Maybe we should move that to the end of the set. Well, you know what? The joke you said about your pops, it was funny, but let's try this because that punchline didn't hit the way it was. So say it like this. Or what you think about if we move that around and start with the story about your moms and then your father, and then you close the set out with your daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they kind of enhance a lot of times the bits.
So let me ask you this. Because what I do notice and have noticed is when we watch some of these comedic geniuses, there are times where we feel like, hold up, I heard that joke before. Or I heard him say that joke in a set before. Or, dang, he's still telling that damn joke, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I love him to death. Smokey Suarez, right? I remember seeing Smokey in 2002.
Right.
Or 2003 at Divas in Montclair.
Right.
When we used to do comedy shows once a month.
I remember that. Right.
I've been in this comedy thing a long time, like after work comedy, you know, house music. Like that's always been my thing. So, he told a joke about crackhead tried to sell him a parrot, and the parrot was under his shirt.
Right.
And he'll still tell that joke.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, that joke still works. Like,
that's a classic bit.
It is.
That's a classic bit. And a lot of times what happens, and big shout out to Smokey, that's my guy.
That is hilarious.
The joke is so funny that you can hear it time and time again and still laugh. That's a classic bit, and that joke is so hard hitting. Like, can't nobody even steal that joke because you already know that's a Smokey joke.
Like Capone when he talks about the Spanish mother going to court and her son on trial for murder.
A lot of times what will happen is like we get to a show and like it'll be a diehard fan there. And he'd be like, yo, please, can you do the joke about, you know what I mean? The crackhead who stole a bird from the pet shop.
It's like the Kev and the all right. Like, I mean, somebody say.
People, those are classic bits. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, that's how stuff get turned into memes and gifts and stuff.
It turns into,
Look at this. Somebody
people,
come look at this.
It's like, people come up to you, yo, can you please play this? Can you please play that?
And it's funny that you segued into that because I guess that is like playing somebody's favorite song.
Yeah.
See, I never looked at it that way.
Yeah, people come up like, people sometimes they'll ask for a specific joke. And you know what, if I could fit it in, I'd do that. You know what I mean? Like
that really is like asking, like that's like somebody walking up to the booth asking for a request.
Yeah. Or they'll ask
wow, I didn't know that
happened. They say, yo, can you do this joke or whatever? Sometimes, I'll be on stage and people like, yo, tell the joint about your pops. Tell the joint about how cheap your pops was. And I don't even do that joke no more.
But you gotta make that turn.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of our, it's happening in the moment. So, when I'm on stage and I'm at a club or something and somebody, asks, I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? So, because now the rest of the crowd is wondering. So, a lot of times we have a signature bit and they want to hear it. You know what I mean? So you may do that. So, a lot of times, people see comedians and, do jokes, classic jokes or whatever. And those are just jokes and some comedians, run with it. Because a lot of times, them jokes is going to hit anyway.
True.
So, working on new material is, it's challenging because jokes don't be funny at first. People don't know what we go through to craft a set.
And that's
like, it takes time. It takes, you got to figure it out. When you see it on TV, that joke has been worked and polished and worked again.
It's funny you say that too because that's why I stay my black ass from off that stage. Because I have a respect. Because it's like, even like, I look at it as DJ.
Right.
I'm not gonna let somebody that say they love house music.
Right.
Oh, let me play. Why? Cause I love house music. All right. Do you DJ? Do you play music? Like, where we going with this?
Right.
So you just love house. So you don't know how none of this stuff works, but you want me to just to me, that's like the equivalent of, you know, getting on stage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, all right, man, I'm thinking something's wrong.
Did you hear the Jamaican? Did you hear that? Did you hear the West Indian shit? That's how West Indians say shit.
Yeah, you know.
Did you hear that? I just let the people know.
It came out. But yeah, you know, like my thing is I have such a respect for the art form of getting on stage at whatever capacity.
Right.
Because I have been on stage, you know, like we always in a school play or something at some point, but I was really into drama. Like I had drama class on my schedule. So, you know, like I understand the preparation that goes into getting on stage. It ain't just you being the funny cat that we went to high school with, going on stage talking for an hour.
Right. But
Like,
some people, you know, they want to get out there and they want to try it, and you know, I mean, it's like comedy isn't, you know, we kind of welcome everybody, you know what I mean? But a lot of people want to try and shoot straight to the top or whatever the case is. Like, really, you just getting up there telling your story.
and it's funny you said that.
T.I. doing comedy.
I was about to say, I respect the way he's doing it.
Right.
And see, he kind of said what I just said, like, nah, cause he's doing a little hole in the walls. It's like,
you know, T.I.'s been part of the comedy world for a while.
well, yeah, his former business partner, Jason Jeter, graduated from Montclair class of 95. I'm class of 96.
Right, okay.
So like, I remember Jason coming home for one of his first holiday breaks. He went to Morehouse. And I remember him coming home for a break and saying, yo, I just discovered the next hottest rapper. He said, I got the next hottest rapper about to come out. And we was all like, all right. Cause Jason ain't never been the type to like BS around. Like, he was always a pretty.
He was talking about Tip.
He was talking about Tip. Wow. And they was both teenagers. Like he was in college at the time. And you know, but Jay always had a good ear for music. You know what I'm saying? And he was always like a reserved cat, you know what I'm saying? Like he ain't take no mess. He wasn't no slouch. But he wasn't the loudest joker in the room either. You know, but it's like, I think because T.I. did that with his music career, like, cause them jokers have a story, like they went through things. Right. I think he's taking the same approach as to how he's doing comedy. Right. And to me, that's pretty dope.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, he's definitely out here doing it for real. Like, you know what I mean? He's
He done
up.
got
He been
booed
around.
and he done got back on the stage the next day and killed it.
It's a learning experience, man. Like it takes a while as a comedian to really discover who you are. Like really to you know, to know who you are on stage. Like typically it takes in our game, it usually takes at least about 10 years to really know who you are on stage. I'm not saying just be funny.
Right.
But really learn who you are now and be a professional comedian. Now, there's people that do it before and blow up quicker or whatever the case. To be an actual professional, seasoned comedian, to know yourself on stage, it's gonna take some time.
And I absolutely believe that, and I believe that that's why we see comedians come out and we're like, that Joe got to be in his 50s. I ain't never seen him before. And it's because we don't know about the 20 years of hole in the wall clubs and
learning.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Failures.
Sometimes it's
and
just get, you know, and it's getting the shop beat, you know, and it's also a business. Like a lot of this is show business.
Right.
So, you know, what is it, 90% business, 10% show. So you kind of got to learn the business aspect of it. You know, you got to learn where you want to go. Like I tell this to a lot of comedians, things that I know now, I try and share to the younger comics, like, listen, where do you want to go in this business? What is it you want to do?
Right.
You got to kind of create a plan. Because, you know, do you want to be on TV? Do you want to do movies? Do you just want to do stand-up? Do you just want to be a writer? Because these are things that you kind of have to be thinking about. Because if you want to have a TV show, Well, you gotta be able to pitch a TV show. What does a TV show look like about you? If you go do a showcase and they give you 5 or 10 minutes, if I'm working for, let's say, NBC, and we're looking for people with shows, when I see your set, what do I want to give you a TV show about? Tell me, I need to know who you are and something about you by the time you get on and off the stage. Bernie Mac, you knew who he was. They created a TV show about his material.
And it's crazy because that whole sitcom was built around
His set.
Right. On the Kings of Comedy.
Exactly.
Like,
right, but that's what it's about. So it's not just about being funny, it's about being
your point
memorable.
of view.
Yeah, your point of view, and you want to be memorable.
Cause cause it's like, damn, you just really, cause it's like, you always knew that, but it was never put into a space of really, like, yo, this joke, they created a show around
I mean, a lot of
a
times,
half hour of material.
right, because you knew about his sister, his crackhead sister. He talked about her kids and how that was the Bernie Mac show.
Like Robin Harris and Bebe's kids. Right. He was going on a date with this chick.
Right.
She asked if her kids could come. You know what I'm saying?
But these are premises for a show. So, you know, I tell a lot of the, comics, like, start early. Start early. See, I came in the comedy game at the tail end of at the end of the Def Jam era.
Right before the Comedy View.
Right.
Comic View.
Know, so I was in that whole Comic View. So that was like the black comedy explosion.
Right.
When Def Jam hit, that was like, people had never seen that raw, crazy comedy. So that, that blew up. Now, then the game took a shift after that. Because all the black, hot, urban talent, black explosion, all those guys blew up from the Def Comedy Jam. But then it became like I don't want to say a black eye, but you became a Def Jam comic, which was loud, cursing, and then the comedy game switched. You know what I mean? So now, after people had already seen it, and it was funny, now they wanted to see something different. So what are you really talking about now? Then the comedy game switched a couple years after that. It went to all alternative. Like, they were giving a lot of alternative comics deals. So these guys, those were, the guys that were playing guitars and stuff on stage or whatever the case be. But they call them alternative, like Dimitri Martin. These are the alternative comics. So they started blowing up. That was the wave. You know what I mean? So now it's, really about good comedy. Like, you can't sugarcoat good comedy. And now we had another turn in the rules, because now we got a whole nother genre of comedy where we got the internet comics.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Instagram and all that.
Right, the social media comics, you know what I mean? Who've kind of branched off, and now they got their own genre of comedy.
Right, because they out here moving around. Like, you got Just Hilarious and Country Wayne.
Right, they out here moving.
Yeah, Desi and all them jokers, they getting booked.
Right, they getting booked, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, that definitely changed the game, but you still can't cheat the game.
See, and I, in all honesty, it's like, we were talking about this before we, went live, but you can't be mad at somebody for what era they were born into.
Right.
But to me, it's still like, all right, I'm watching you be funny for 30 seconds.
Right. But it's a different.
Pay.
Right. But it's a difference, because some of the social media comedians actually pursue the art.
Right.
It's like what you compared it to earlier. When you gave me the
oh example. Yeah, like the black coffees. You got black coffee. So Kevin Hart is black coffee, right? And then you got the people directly under Kevin Hart. I would consider to be like Louis Vega and Dave Morales, and, you know what I'm saying? Tony Humphries, Kerry Chandler.
So people, these are house music.
DJ, you're right.
The tiers of house music, right?
You know, you got your Kenny Dopes, and so
Right.
then you got, and then right on down. Then you got the Me and Jihad, and
But you compared it to somebody who comes out now.
right. It's
who
like now
DJs.
they DJ and don't know how to play on turntables.
Right. But you got to be able to respect that.
Yeah.
Because
they pulling up with a controller, and it's
Right.
like,
and really think they dope, and you like, yo, you don't like. Let's take away Serato, what you do now.
and it's
But
like
you can't take away their dopeness because they getting
because
booked.
they doing it right.
They doing it, right.
And that's
you
why
may not respect it.
And that's why, listen, I don't have, it ain't about if I don't respect it or not.
Right.
It's not a matter of not respecting it. It's just, it really depends on the individual.
Right.
Like if they take what's coming and they remain humble about it,
Right.
they still act like normal,
Right.
then cool. And then I'll want to enhance your dopeness by giving you those levels, those different levels and layers to who you are as a DJ. I'll be the person to teach you how to play on turntables.
See, so with us, it translates because you see, like you got the guys that are social media comedians. Now, some of them actually are working to become a good stand-up comic.
Like a DC Young Fly.
DC Young Fly, prime example. DC, like
He did the work.
Was going up. Like
He was doing the work.
He was putting in the work, doing the work. Like you know what I mean? So you got guys who really want to learn the art of stand-up.
But see, those are like comedy connoisseurs. They're not just dudes that's funny, women that's funny. You know what I'm saying?
But then is tricky because these guys, they get such a large following, and at the end of the day, it's about putting asses in seats.
yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
gotta be able to
So
sell
they
them
have
tickets.
loyal followings, people that want to come see them. You know what I mean? So now it's like you just gotta perfect the art. You know what I mean? So the internet, and it was dope because they all like have taken advantage of that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So now with the internet, you don't really have, you can build your own following. Country Wayne is killing it, destroying it. He's got his own following. He's making his own money,
Right.
like killing it. You know, so
And what I respect about him is when Instagram tried to like put him in a box, he was like, "Oh, all right, don't worry about it." He shut it down. Like he stopped posting videos on Instagram.
he killed
Like-
it. And but it's so many different means to get your work out there now, like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Like, it's you can kind of become your own studio. You can create your own channel.
Yeah.
We ain't had this 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You can go on YouTube right now and create your own channel. We could stream live comedy show,
Yeah.
if that's what you want to do. Kev on stage killed it. Started doing this. He has a comedy show that he was doing during COVID, and he created his own show that was streaming live with comedians, and people could watch it through the screen. Yo, the brother created his own platform, own vehicle to get it out there.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of people watching. So now you can put in the work and be, there's still gatekeepers, but you don't even need those gates anymore. You know? It's like you. So now it's like really getting creative with what's being given out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you. Now you DJ, but now it's like, all right, I got a DJ, but now I got a fan base, let's do a podcast. You know what I mean? Now
Right.
it's like, how do I exploit these other avenues that I need to be exploiting because this is where the game is going.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I remember when Serato came out, nobody wanted to use it. Nobody wanted to use the laptop. Like I'm a music guy. Like I grew up in Jersey. I'm a house head.
Absolutely.
So, that's why when I'm in town, I hit you up. Yo, beloved, where you playing?
Hey, everywhere.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, it's times. I think we was in Atlanta at the same
Yeah,
time or
yeah.
something. Yeah, you hit me like, yo, what's going on in Atlanta? I was like, you in Atlanta? I'm in Atlanta. Like he was like, oh, all right, well I'm coming through. Like,
Right.
So
But you gotta,
that's the other dope part about being in the entertainment industry too. like when fluke stuff like that happens,
Right.
it's kind of dope.
Yeah, cats just pop
Like,
up on you.
like
right.
yeah, you know, I'm in Atlanta,
Where you
like,
at?
I'm in Miami, I'm in
Pull
like,
up on me.
right. It's like, and then it also gives you that feeling of, you know, that hometown
Right.
support, like, you know what I mean? I had DJ Tragedy on the show last week, and I asked him a question like, yo, like, cause we both from Montclair, and I said, yo, like, does it bother you that you very rarely see people pull up on you from your hometown? And he was like, no. Like, I was like, damn.
Right.
And it's like, he has some very valid viewpoints of why. And it comes down to, yo, it's a business. I got things to do.
Yeah, it's a
like,
business. Yeah.
you know, people that I grew up with pull up on me, they pull up on me. If they don't, they don't. And it's like, but that's one thing that I do love about, like, our circle,
Right.
like our little circle, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't one time that y'all been on stage that ring ain't hit my phone. Like, yo, Jonathan, Naeem, such doing the show at so-and-so, we gonna go over there.
Yo, I will say that, like our immediate, like our township, Hillside, New
Yeah,
Jersey.
they pull up.
They pull up. They come out. We're a very unique, close knit community.
Well, it's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
we
it's like
grew
a
up,
village.
Like we, and especially like our class, just our town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're the next immediate city outside of North.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we like the suburbs. So we got a lot of stuff mixed in, but we all kind of grew up together.
Right.
Our brothers and sisters grew up together. So
It's
you know,
like
we
Mon-
just had
it's like Montclair.
We had a very unique, close knit, especially our class, our graduating class.
Right.
96, you know what I mean? So, you know, that was a great experience. You know, I had a blast growing up. You know what I mean? Like, all of that. From music to, you know, club tapes and
Damn.
yeah,
He
man.
said
Come
club
on, man.
tapes.
Come on, man. We had the Maxwell.
Yeah, the Maxwell, the
Maxwells.
great tape
The great tape.
with the dude sitting
Putting
on the
paper in the end so you can re-record on top. Break it so you can record over it. Come on, man. Everybody was I was a DJ, man. Tore up my father's stereo system, man.
Oh, man.
We didn't know how to backspin, so we would put paper towels under the record so it could.
See, look, you see what I'm doing? You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
For y'all that don't see what I'm doing, this old school right here. When you get a new record, you take it and you rub it on your pant leg, get that plastic warm, and then it just go right open for you. See what I'm saying?
Right open.
Like, yeah, nah. See, I ain't open this yet, so I want to get into this.
But yeah, man. So you know that was my whole childhood. You know what I mean? So that's man, basement parties.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? 22, 20, like you know that man. Club tapes was it. That's back. You know when hip hop was like really starting to bubble.
Right.
And in Jersey we had the club music. Now what's the difference? What's the difference between club and house?
Oh, come on now.
Listen, I'm on the Guru station. What's the difference between club and house?
Oh man, just the name, brother.
Huh?
It's just the name.
It's just the name?
Yeah, man.
So it's all the same to you?
I mean,
See?
Look.
It was just the name. What is it?
house music, that name came from, you know,
Warehouse music, right?
yeah, Chicago.
Right.
Club music was music you heard when you went to the club.
Right.
Club music.
Okay.
House music was because of the warehouse in Chicago.
Right.
House music. They stopped saying warehouse. They said just house music. So, yeah, vinyl.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it and then it morphed into something else. You know what I'm saying? Became more instrumental.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, way more musical.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Club
'cause I
music
remember,
was
like,
club
we
music
was-
was like, you know, but
Working to the bone.
Yeah, right.
Jack your body.
Look, I got all that over
Come
here.
on. Oh my
So-
God, bro. We used to be like sweating out.
But see, that was a good era. I think people born in the 70s,
Do you ever still play any of that?
hell yeah.
Like-
yeah, absolutely. Shoot, I did a show last week. I started with stuff like Evelyn Champagne King, I'm in Love, and I was in that whole mode,
Now I notice you don't play too much mainstream.
Not like I used to. I still can play everything. I mean, see, you remember the Diva days, so it's like you remember when I was playing like a little bit of everything,
Right.
but then I would go over into that VIP room
Right.
and just get real deep and stretch out. But it's like, I try to play just music that feels good. It don't even have to be specifically like a house record, like, as you can see, like
But you play music, right?
Yeah, that's why the BPM represents music, and that was why that acronym was so important to me, because I need people to understand it's about the music. It ain't necessarily about a specific genre of music. It's just music. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's why I feel where your talent comes in. Like, to me, what made me a fan is, like, you can have people that just play records, and because the music is the music.
absolutely.
But you can take those records and make music, make more music. Just so that's and it's feel good. It could be a record nobody never played.
I mean, and that's that's the whole point. When I was a kid growing up, as a comedian, I'm sure that a lot of your pain is buried in your jokes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the realest thing ever. Let
Yeah.
me tell you something. Like, a lot of those stories, that's what makes it funny, because comedy is all about relatability.
Yeah.
If I tell a story about growing up, I tell a story about my parents. You had parents too. So that's what makes you laugh, because in the back of your mind, it's
It's
yo,
and that's why them
I
jokers.
remember that. right.
That it's like that. Oh man, I forget her name on Instagram. But she do this whole thing where she puts this wig on and she like shakes her head as she talks.
Right.
She imitating her mother.
Right.
Like she do this whole thing where she does skits where like if her mother come stay at her house or whatever, like, babe, what time y'all getting up in the morning? Like it's 11 o'clock in the morning. Like what time y'all making breakfast?
It's
Like
relatability.
yeah, nah,
Right.
and it's like I feel like those are the skits on Instagram that circulated the fastest. Kids imitating their parents.
Right, because it's
Like-
it's all about relatability. It's when you can relate.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you got guys that are urban comics, a lot of the majority of their fan base is urban because they talk about urban things. Like it's guys that talk about stuff in the hood, but if you never grew up in the hood, it's not going to be
ain't gonna
funny
relate,
to you,
right.
Because you can't relate. You know what I mean? So if a guy tells a joke about dating a big girl, you gonna laugh if you've dated a big girl,
Right.
or you've been around a big girl,
Right.
or your sister's a big girl,
Right.
because you've got that experience. You know what I mean? I got a joke about my father, one of my classic bits, that, I used to talk about how my father was so cheap. A lot of people had cheap fathers. So that was relatable. And growing up, and my mother, going to buy my sneakers at ShopRite
Right.
from the food store. She tried that one time. She tried it. She didn't get it all, but she tried it.
I was not agreeing with you till you
Listen.
said that shit. I was like,
Yo, my mother tried it. Because you been in the food store. You remember back in the day, they had the bin at the end of the aisle.
yeah,
they
with
didn't come in no
and
box.
they was zip
had
tied
the
together.
plastic-
It
the
was
plastic ring.
It was.
She tried to put them on me.
me.
Yo, I'm like, yo, Mom, why my Adidas gotta have 6 stripes on them?
Oh, my
She like,
God.
try them on. I'm in the frozen foods aisle, trying to walk with them things connected.
Oh my
But
God.
it's about
Yo.
relatability.
Oh.
So that's where it comes from. So we grew up in a feel good era. So that's why I said, you know, but that's the story that I tell. You know, so my talent, like, you know, we all got points where we strong.
Right.
Just like y'all DJs, like, because I'm a music guy, a house head, you know, I know all of y'all, especially the Jersey DJs. Everybody got it's like the comedy game. Everybody, you got your clique that you run to, but you respect other jokers. This dude is good at this. This guy is good at this. He's good at this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some guys are good hosts in comedy. Some guys are just great storytellers. Some guys have a great set, but they can't host.
Right.
Because to be a host, you got to be able to connect with the crowd. You got to be able to control the flow of a show.
Right.
So I always tell promoters, like, you know, I used to produce a lot of shows, the big theater shows. I work with promoters. They book me. They have me help them book other shows. Sometimes I consult them, but I tell all promoters, have a great host. Your host will dictate the flow of your show. You gotta have a good show. Your show is only as good as the host. Because what if you have a show and 3 comedians go up and bomb? Or the first comedian.
The host got to pull that thing back together.
Right. He got to pull it back together. The first comedian go up and they wasn't feeling him. He got to go up because the audience, once the host establishes that he's funny, the audience trusts him. So they know when he come up, even if this dude
making
is
so
whack,
much sense right now.
when the host come up, it's like, yo, he back. And then, you know what I mean?
It give you something to look forward to.
Right.
Because you know he's coming up after every act.
After every guy. And when he comes back, it's like, oh, he's back. We already know what he's going to do.
Damn.
Or if you get a comedian, right? Say you get a comedian who goes on first and rips the top off. That happens. Blows him out the water. Now you got to make sure the rest of the show goes good. That's like putting a Busta Rhymes on before somebody else that has a totally different style.
Yeah.
So now the host has to kind of
pull it back together.
Bring it back down.
Now it makes sense why Steve Harvey was the host of Kings of Comedy and not an act, because as funny as he is, he can carry a whole show because of his hosting abilities.
It's all about, it's all about putting the pieces of the puzzle together. It's just like when you go somewhere and play a set. You know how to play your set. It's like some DJs, you know how it's just like DJs. Some DJs can play anything. They do weddings. You know, if you got to do a wedding, you got to be able to play a little bit
of everything. Yeah.
Right, and then you got some guys that they just only do this. That's what it is. Right.
And that's where I kind of have an advantage, because I can do both.
Right.
So it's like, you know, and then growing up.
But then when you get really, really, really great at one thing, then people will only book you just to do that.
And that's the thing.
So now it's like, dang, because you on the Mount Rushmore of this over here. So they be like, nah, he ain't gonna do this. So you might not get called for the wedding because he's like the guru of the house. Or they might not, you know, this wedding, they pay for a couple hours of work. You know what I mean? But they like, nah, he ain't gonna do that, or, you know.
He gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but I'm just saying, but people.
Before I didn't want to.
Yeah, but they don't, because you've excelled.
Yeah.
You want to Mount Rushmore house DJs. It just is what it is.
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean? So somebody might, but again, like me, I do a lot of hosting. Because I'm able to improv. I'm my strongest when I'm improvising, off the top of the head.
For real?
I can be out there and I can just go. I can talk about somebody in the crowd, make a whole story, and I can do 10 or 15 minutes just going back and forth with this person or whatever the case is without even doing any material.
Right.
So, you know, as a host, different things are happening. People are walking in, this and that. You got this person here, that person here. Sometimes they like, yo, you got to go out because the other comic ain't here. You got to stall. You know what I'm saying? Like, they you know, they got pulled over by the police.
It's like coming to the DJ booth like, yo, play another record.
Right.
Right.
You know, but as a comic, you got to be able to, sometimes you just got to bring the next comic. They like, we need you to do another 5. We need you to do 10, 15. What you going to talk about? So, you know, you got to be able to do that if something happens, something breaks out. You got to be able to switch speeds. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to bring the next person up. Sometimes if it's a filler, you got to be able to do that. So all comedians can't do that. But some comedians are just great guys that can do a set. Then you got guys that are just great writers who they don't have a lot of, personality on stage, but they come up with golden nuggets. They can, man, they come up, they're clever.
Right.
Great. But they just can't be the person on stage. You understand? So they come up with some crazy, some stuff, and you see these guys out working out, and you're like, yo, that was genius. It's just some geniuses out there.
I like this whole, cause I thought Deion Cole was the only one that did it, and then I was watching somebody else, and they did it too. The whole pull the index card out with the pen, like, all right, so I want to try some stuff with y'all.
A lot of times, that's how it starts. You know what I mean? A lot of times, guys we go into these rooms, they call them workout rooms, and you got stuff that you done jotted down and you just want to try out because you don't know if it's gonna work or not. You know what I mean? So you gotta put it out there, and majority of the times it don't work. Or it get a chuckle, you like, okay, all right, I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna have to, until you get it down. Like, that's what we call working out. So you hear comics like, yo, I'm working out, or I'm working out some new materials. It's like in the gym, you work it out until you get it flawless.
Right.
And sometimes, it's been times where a joke might not mature for 5 years. There's jokes that's in the book that it's a funny concept, but you just can't get it right.
No, I know what that feels like because, I don't just DJ, I produce as well. So it's like,
Now that's crazy because I'm seeing a lot of DJs starting to produce their own tracks. Tell me
I've
about
been doing that for a long time. But like, I have records that didn't come out till years after I did it.
Right.
I have records that I didn't complete until years later. Like, I'll start the joint and then, there's also a thing of knowing where you're at in your career.
Right.
Like, I've started projects that was like, that's a little advanced.
Right.
Like, I need a minute on it. Like, I have records that I've done where it was like, yo, got everybody together, we in the studio and everybody, we just jamming. You know what I'm saying? Boom, joint come together.
So what happens when like you see something like I see a lot of house DJs remix it, or they'll put out their own mix of a song that's already out.
I do that too.
Right.
Well, see, it would be not say it that way. It's a difference between a edit, a DJ tool, and a remix.
Wait,
like
edit?
Yeah, edit. An edit is like I'm taking your work and I'm adding to your work.
Okay, that's an edit.
That's an edit.
We'll learn, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, that's an edit. An edit is, yeah, we doing this show right now, and right now we've been talking for an hour and 5 minutes, but somebody else would take this video and make it a half hour of all the parts that they want to watch. That's their edit of it.
So their edit. Okay.
Right, it's an edit.
So that's an edit.
That's it. I don't know that they did this edit. I don't know that I don't have a copy of this edit. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, if it's a song, somebody will take just parts or, edit the actual song and add some things to it?
They can add things. They can add more drums to it. They can,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's an edit.
That's
so
an edit. Then you have like a mashup, DJ
What's a
tool
mashup?
type. A mashup is basically you take two bodies of completed work and you put them together. That's it, really. Right. It's like saying, all right, syrup goes on pancakes and syrup goes on French toast. So I could eat a pancake and a piece of French toast.
So you take
so it's
two
still
different
breakfast,
songs
right?
And put them together and kind of mix them.
Because they're in the same key, or
Right.
they can go together in that sense. So yeah, that's a
and
mashup.
possibly add more drums to it.
Right. It's a mashup.
So that's a mashup.
Then there's a remix, where you completely rebuild the record. Like you add new instrumentation, the arrangement could be different possibly.
Right.
You're working with actual vocal parts.
So all right, so let me ask you. So give me an example. So, was it the Late Night Affair?
Yeah, The Way. That's Salad Nasser did.
The Salad, right. So that specific. So what is that right there? What do you call that?
I'm gonna call that. That's his mix. That's his mix.
That's his.
That's an edit.
That's it. That's an edit.
Well, no, that's a remix because he did some work.
See, that's what I'm trying to.
That's my man too.
Right.
We did one together. We did a Luther together. We did Still in Love.
So that's a remix then.
Yeah, that's.
So that was that's a Luther song.
Yeah, he chopped up that thing, man. He worked that thing.
So now when he does that, because he actually made a whole, like it's a song, like it's a track that he remixed. Now did he put that out, or that's just like a white label?
It's a white label.
Okay.
So you know music, so you know what a white label is.
So
white
for
label
the people
is,
that don't know, white label is.
you just put the record out there. You ain't got to put no credits on it.
Right.
Put it out there.
You just
Like
put it out there.
Selling mixtape out the trunk of the car.
Right. Okay.
You know, then you have
So
a
he
situation.
put it out. So when you do that, you're not looking for. There's
No
no
royalty,
publishing.
no
or nothing.
publishing,
You just-
no.
Listen, this is just out there. Right. It's like a mixtape.
It's all like, you know, like I said, it's mixtape. It's like, you know, people buy it, they buy it. If they don't, they don't. You know.
But it's not formal.
No, it's not a formal. Okay. But then you have formal remixes that have to get done like that. That have to get dealt with like that. You have situations where an artist will want other versions of a song to come out. You know what I'm saying? But the people that they're in business with don't know how to get it done.
Right.
Because they don't see the need for it or the want for it or whatever.
How'd you feel about the Drake situation? Like, Drake's, you know.
The Superman joint? Or the new album?
The new album.
Just the Nevermind joint?
Yeah, the new album where he.
Man, listen, I love it. I love that. I love
so
that.
So you was
joint.
happy when, like, the house music is.
Listen,
somebody
I loved it.
Scale.
I love the Beyonce album. I love certain things that Chris Brown has done because Chris Brown is a house head.
Right.
Chris Brown has been in house music dance contests overseas. Like Omarion was just hanging out at Funk Box in the city with Tony Touch. You know what I'm saying? Omarion has used people like E.J. Wilson, who is a world-renowned house music dancer, as his choreographers. You know, him and Sekou from Trenton. You know what I'm saying? And he traveled around the world teaching dance class and touring, you know, choreographing videos for all types of people. You know, God, you know, rest in peace, Voodoo Ray. You know, Voodoo Ray used to have you know, when we used to be at Funk Box, man. Shit, Janet Jackson came and hung out at Funk Box. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this ain't no little thing we doing over here. Like, hell, I did a remix to Janet Jackson Made for Now. The girl that choreographed the video is my friend. You know what I'm saying? The girl that
do you think that's gonna be? That's what it's gonna take to get this next generation?
It has to, because, see, the thing is this, right? We were raised different. We were raised in an era of your parents were the first people to expose you to a lot of stuff.
Right.
So even though you learned some other stuff that your parents had nothing to do with,
that was the foundation.
The funnel of information you got was shaped like a funnel.
Right.
Like, yeah, you can have all this stuff, but only this much stuff is gonna get through at a certain time. Like, we're gonna give you like.
We heard the music being played, cleaning on
right.
Saturday morning.
You see what I'm saying?
When you wake out with the family, the cookout, the this, to that.
So you grew up knowing what good music was.
Right.
And then, like, as we're seeing now, because now we're fathers of children that listen to music that we turn our faces up to. Right. And then we gotta stop and look in the mirror and say, we was dancing to Luke,
bruh,
Lil' Kim,
bruh, yes,
Foxy,
yes,
Trina, Trick Daddy.
All of that. Matter of fact, remember the little girls was outside doing steps.
Yes.
If I got a daughter, my daughter 13, if she would even utter the words that the girls we grew up was saying,
Yes.
bang, bang, choo-choo train, watch Aisha do
her thing.
I can't.
Why not?
I can't.
Why not?
My back is aching, my belt too tight, my booty shaking from
left
what?
to right.
Yeah,
like,
you ain't got no booty. Get your ass in the house.
it's
Why,
like,
remember that? Yo, you was nasty because you was out there watching them too.
yeah. You was
The
out there.
devil made me do it
already.
He made you do what?
Listen,
I'm
we
gonna
was
fuck
like-
the devil up.
Hey, and it's like, it's crazy because, you know,
He bust my booty.
what are y'all talking about? Right? And it's like, so it's like, I remember being in the car with my kids, man, and Luther Vandross, A House Is Not a Home came on.
Right.
It's funny because I actually have the video on my phone. And I remember just nodding. And I hear my son in the back. Doom, 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 doom. And I'm like, my son he just turned 18. So this video is 3 years old. He was 15.
Right.
And he back there. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, what you know about this song? He like, Dad, you're my father. Like, that's how he talks.
Right.
Dad, really? And you know,
That's how my daughter is.
so it's like, they can go either way. You know what I'm saying? Like, one time we was in the car, he was like, Dad, you don't listen to, I don't know who it was. It wasn't like 21 Savage or one of them jokers. I don't know. It was whatever it was. And I just said, well, whatever, put whatever station. I look at my Pandora sometimes and I look at the created stations and I'm like, what the hell did I add? What? So I'll tap it to see what it is, and then next thing I'm on the parkway like, am I supposed,
Right.
I'm like, yo, what's that? So, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, we were just raised on great music. So, you know, like I said, man, as far as the producing is concerned, you know, sometimes certain projects have to be handled like that because artists want their stuff out there, man.
So let me ask you this. Like, let's talk like the younger generation, like Quason.
Taj, he's a monster.
What made him a monster?
He's creative as hell.
Right.
Like, that boy is a one-stop shop. Like, he can do everything. Like, yeah, no, he can do everything. When I say he can do everything, I'm talking about from the paperwork side of it to the creative side of it. He can do everything. He can DJ, he can produce. He is
I see him dropping joints.
He's a mutant. He can do graphic design. He can do everything. Like, he is, all that boy need is her laptop and his phone. He can do everything. And I love it. Cause I be like, nephew, I need help with such. I got you, homie. Yo, these kids are amazing. Listen, my kid.
You got Just.
This is what I'm saying. Like
he really like.
I was the first one. I'm the first one who was like, all right, go over. I got the video on my phone.
Right.
He sent it to me a few months ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In fact, he posted it on my birthday. He posted a video of him, one of the first times he came over for lessons. And, you know, I know that boy since he was born.
Right.
Like, literally, like in the back seat, in the baby seat. You know what I'm saying?
So how do we get more of that going on, like the younger generation?
See, and it's funny because I was gonna have Just on the show, and this was gonna be one of the things we talked about. They have to now understand that they have a responsibility. Because when I was their age doing this, there weren't a bunch of Jonathans and Beloveds running around. You had guys in our age bracket that didn't mind hearing house music and knew what it was and, you know, all of that. But they weren't house heads. They still want to go pop bottles and lights, camera, action, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so it wasn't a thing where it was like we was the ones packing the dance floor. We were the minority.
But it's still, you know what? It was heavier than what it is now because we used
Of
to
course.
go to Skate 22.
But what I'm saying is,
and they would be on the back.
our parents kind of passed
percolator,
us
right.
the torch.
Right.
We ain't passing no torch.
My daughter got the torch.
Well, that's just what I'm saying, but there ain't enough of
of
us.
it, right.
You figure, like you said, your daughter 13.
And
That's
she on
one
every house.
fan.
Right, that's one fan. Right.
It's 10,000 people out here that are 30 years older than the DJs. Think about what I just said.
But you're right. 'cause
Justin is 15. I'm 44. That's 30 years.
and the real people, like, we're young to them because you go to
And this is what I'm
a dress to sweat.
this is what I'm saying to you. So if we're if
It's
we're
all
the
people
young,
from the crack era. his fan base is all, you know, sober crackheads.
Hold on. I gotta put this up real quick. Hold on. What's this? Hold on. What's this right here?
They missing teeth and
Look. See this? Hold on. I need to add his name next to mine. Look, this is it's entertainment, people. Okay? God, boy. Listen. So, like and this is the argument I used to have. But this is the argument I have. He's a comedian. Remember that. Don't forget. But this is the argument I have. This is the argument I used to have, actually. Because 2006, so that was what? 15 years ago? 17 years ago. So, whatever the hell. All those years ago, I was in my late 20s. And I wanted to do a house music party, but I didn't want it to look like the parties that I was going to. I wanted to create the type of party I wanted to go to. So that meant that the party that I would want to go to is a party where they play the music I love, but everybody looks fly and happy, and, you know? So I said, well, I could do that at Divas. Because Divas is a spot that people like getting dressed
People like
to
that
come
was
to.
the hot spot at that point.
Right. People love getting dressed to come here. And the system is right. The food is good. It's in a nice neighborhood. There's plenty of parking. Like all the pieces. 572 people.
Having a good time.
High heel wearers, tight jean wearers, Chuck Taylor wearers, and cargo pants wearers all in the same building.
Getting it in.
That's the kind of party I want to go to.
So let me ask you this, right? So who, because I'm starting to see songs remixed with present day songs, like the Cardi B joint.
Okay, so
First, I want to find out once and for all who started that mix. I done heard 10 DJs say that was their that Cardi B joint.
Which Cardi B joint?
It's a Cardi B.
See, I'm out of touch with
They
that type of stuff.
remixed the Cardi B house song. They did a house
Bloody
song.
Shoes?
Huh?
These is Bloody Shoes?
Yeah.
Oh.
I done heard every DJ say that I did that remix.
Well,
That
well,
was
no,
my
no, no, no,
remix.
no. See, again, and this is what I'm saying. Every DJ has. I mean, we all got these laptops now. You got DJ programs out here that will, you know, put you in a position to remix on the fly. And what happens is all these different DJs have done a version of the Cardi B record. The ones that got popular, that's a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and you know, God bless them, but you know, some people just, they want that level of notoriety and fame so bad that they'll lie
They'll lie, right?
and say, oh, that's my,
Right.
Oh, okay. You know, like
Oh, I want to quote a DJ so bad.
I did a record some years ago where I didn't put my name on the record on purpose to see if people would buy it because it was good music or if people bought it because, oh, that's another Beloved joint. So me and Reggie did this record under the alias Logics, and that record became a very big record. And my boy called me. No. He didn't call me. He came to my house. And he was like, yo, you gotta hear this record. I said, what is it? He's like, oh, it's this joint called Seasons. I don't know who these dudes is that produced it, blah, blah, blah. He going crazy about this record. And I'm like, that's me. No, it ain't that. Went over to my computer, cause we was in the studio. Click the hard drive open, fired up the session, popped it right up on the screen, hit the play button.
Right.
As soon as the joint started, he was like, yo, why you ain't put your name on that? And it was 2 or 3 situations with that record. Jihad played it on this show one day, he killing it. I tell him like, yo, I ain't sent it to you because I didn't think you would like it. He was like, yo, this you? And
how often do y'all do that? Send each other like?
Most times, because a lot of times Jihad will engineer a record for me a lot of times. So Jihad is a lot of times the first person to hear something that I've worked on. Then there's
he's
time.
good at engineering.
Yeah, we
You
both.
know what's so dope? Like all of y'all have your
Own
own
sound, yeah.
like your own sound, your own level. Just in the Jersey scene, like you
Yeah.
got. He's good at this. He's good at this. This is the Mount Rushmore over here. You know what I mean? Then you got your Beloveds, your Jihads, then you got your DJ, you got Antoine Quad. He does,
Yeah.
Quad does what Quad does.
Exactly.
Right, you know what I mean? Like Quad, I look at all y'all, because I've been working with y'all so long, and I know who's gonna do what. What Quad,
It's that trust factor.
he's he's gonna do a specific party, and the way he plays, I've seen him play. A DJ get there, they hire Quad, 107.5. He comes to close out. I seen Quad play the same exact music that the guy before him played.
And play completely differently.
Play it completely different, and have everybody on the dance floor.
But it's not really because of the songs he's playing.
It's how he plays.
It's the energy in it.
It's
Because that was one thing I used to have fun with at Divas. Because people knew I could play everything, but they knew I was going to specifically play house music.
right. But see,
And
you can do that with songs people never heard.
that's what I was getting ready to say.
See,
Like I tell you what your new
you
favorite
played
song
a
is.
song I never forget it, and you killed it so hard. I had to come to the DJ booth and ask you what was it, because I never heard it. I don't know if was it Children Go Round? Or,
Yeah, Children Go Round.
that's the name of it.
Yeah, that was
I know the song because you told me. I'm like, yo, the way you played that song, I had to know.
And the crazy part is that, like,
and I never heard, I don't hear people play that song.
because Jihad plays the hell out of that record. Mark Francis plays the hell out of that. But you gotta understand something, like for us, it's like, all right, you, Kev Hart, Naeem Lynn, Spank, Harry, it's the big dude that work out, the trainer.
Oh, boss.
Boss. That's the crew, okay? I mean, there's probably more people that I haven't named. Wayne, you know what I'm saying? That's the crew. So, there are gonna be times where you've heard the joke already.
Right, yeah.
So by the time everybody else hears the joke, You may laugh, you may not.
Right.
It's not because you don't like the joke.
Right.
You are a part of
Right.
the joke.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you
You know
are a
it.
part of the construction of the joke.
Right.
So, like, a lot of times with us, by the time y'all hear a record, we done heard that record a million times. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, we know how to play the record.
Right.
So it's like when Mark and Timmy and them did Children Go Round, like me, him, and Jahad were the first ones privy with it because we passing work to each other.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, if I do a record and I need to, listen to this for me, tell me if it's missing something.
Right.
It's no different than you writing a joke and saying, yo, let me try this joke on you real quick. Almost. All right, what you think I should do? See what I'm saying?
Right.
We consulting each other. Excuse me. So, you know, it's a situation where you have to have that let's have a conversation attitude. That's the kind of attitude I approach the booth with. When I walk on the stage or I get in the booth, I'm trying to have a conversation with the crowd. I ain't really trying to put my will on them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like I done sat in the corner in my own little spot, and I done analyzed the whole room already. By the time I'm getting on stage.
So is it like once you got them? Well, no, it's not like that. Well, it's like once you got them. Because like with us,
when
it's
I'm like 5-6 records in,
right. You know you got them. So it's like that with us. Like it's like once you get up there, you get in your zone. With us, first thing you want to establish is that you're funny, because that's what's gonna get the crowd to trust you.
that's it. Once they loosen up,
Right, and they trust you, they gonna rock with you. But now they riding with you with whatever you put on. But see, that's what I'm saying. That's where your talent comes in, because you know. Come on, we done seen DJs play a song, everybody up. Next thing they play, the dance floor is gone. People going back to the table.
well, see, but this is again where just the era we grew up in. Our era, dudes danced,
Right, yeah,
and we was them dudes that was dancing.
right. Having a good time.
So it's like when you come from the dance floor and then into the DJ booth, it's easy. Once you understand the technical side of how things work, you gotta, it's like,
It still takes talent. It
Yeah.
takes ear.
but it's not just the talent part of it, because Baby couldn't dance. Baby wanted to dance. But Patrick Swayze was like, stop. Then he put his hand on her heart, was like, close your eyes, listen, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It takes up, you gotta feel that thing. You gotta feel.
Everybody can't feel it, though.
Right, so like, it's deeper than just having the talent, because some of this stuff just can't be taught.
Right, it can't be
Like, you
taught.
got jokers that could tell you everything about every piece of equipment that's in this room.
Right. But that's like a joker in rap. Some jokers is just nice off the top of the head. Like, that's just what they, like, they can just, so.
It's
some-
funny because Haas said that. Haas the
sometimes-
Ripper said
right.
that. He said he was so dope, they didn't even know where to place him.
Yeah, because you got some guys that can they can only make hot songs. Then you got guys that can only, like, they can get on there and do spit a verse,
Fabulous.
cameo. You understand what I'm saying?
Fabulous. It's like it's a lot of fabulouses
Yeah.
in each
But
area.
Fab can make a song too.
But well, no, what I'm saying is Fab can make a song,
Right.
Fab can't make an album.
Right, okay, I get you. Right.
Name one Fab album that you bought.
Okay, listen, I bought his album, but I get what
You
you're
bought
saying.
the one when it was him and the couple. The
Right.
couple.
I
on
got
the-
you, I know what you're saying.
Before that.
Right.
So it's like,
He's-
you have, and it's the same thing with DJs. Listen, you got DJs that only sound good on the radio. You got DJs that only sound good in a bar. You got DJs that
yes.
only sound good in big nightclubs.
Right.
Because each place is different.
Each place. I know DJs that just like they good, but they're just great on like CDs or or on the when they put together a mix CD. or a mixed album. I don't know what y'all call it now because nobody has a CD, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Flash drives and
like,
shit.
you know, DJs that make great CDs.
Right, you got people.
Like, that kill the CD game. But live, because it's a
Listen.
different, and I get it because it's a different arena.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Because
So,
when you playing live, you gotta, like, I seen guys that make great CDs, but when they play live, they don't know when the timing to take the record off. They play the record, they might play it too long. Some guys play it too short.
listen, it's a lot. It's a lot of work to.
Like I was just telling you, I was at the Raz Baraka party down in AC. I don't know this DJ's name, man. It was a Spanish guy. He's from Newark or whatever. But I could tell, like, he was one of those big club, Vegas style DJs. You know what I mean? So he played everything. He was playing. He went through everything in the list. He played hip hop. Then he went to reggaeton. Then he went straight salsa. Then he went to regular reggae. Then he went to house. Then he went from house back to hip hop, back to Spanish. But you know, you've been to those clubs. Then he played the EDM. He played some EDM. But you know, when you've been in them clubs in Vegas, like, it's a very fast tempo. So even when he played the popular Jersey house songs, it was
quick.
It was up tempo. It was, you know, it was faster than we hear it in Jersey.
Yeah.
People was dancing, but he was playing them because it was already in that line of what he was doing.
Yeah.
People accepted it because he already had them in that.
It still was a delivery.
Right. Then he played he went to Biggie. Then he went, you know, but he had that whole, he was talking, like, it was very fast paced. But to keep that crowd, this huge crowd with the lights going off and on, to keep them, that's what it wasn't a slow, you know.
So you gotta understand something. That's why I called it a conversation.
Right.
The delivery is more important than the topic.
Right.
I could approach you with some devastating news, but if I tell it to you with a smile on my face,
Delivery. Yeah.
you might accept it a little better.
Right.
Guess what? All that is comedy.
Delivery. Yeah. Because
We're gonna talk about all the hard stuff that's going on in the world, but I'm gonna make you laugh while we talk about it.
Delivery.
It's the delivery. Like, you can't go in the White House and tell a nigga joke.
Right.
You gotta know what room you standing in.
Yeah. So, dude, because it's funny you said it, because, like, now I'm thinking about DJs. New York DJs play different from Jersey DJs. Even when
Well, see, the thing with New York DJs is, New York, well, it depends on what style of New York DJ you're talking about. Because you got New York DJs that don't want to be called New York DJs. They just want to be called DJs. And the reason that some of them took that stance is because their stage is the entire world.
Right.
They not, you know, sometimes when you put that state in front of it's already 2 letters, DJ. Right. And then you take 2 more letters and put them in front of the DJ. I'm a New York DJ. Right. I'm a Jersey DJ. It's like, once you do that, you've limited yourself.
that's how it is in comedy, because you got
I don't want to be a
comics.
Jersey DJ.
Right. You want to be just a comic, but you know, it's kind of where you come, but it's still its style.
It's absolutely.
Like when you
but
when,
there
when
is,
I hear
there is, but there isn't.
when I hear New York hip, like authentic New York DJs play hip hop, they play, but it's the reason that they play hip hop a certain way in New York.
Well,
it's like New York comics.
They play it aggressively because New York is an aggressive state.
Yes.
Like,
right.
you know what I'm saying? So, like, once you know,
right.
yo, this is, put like this. When I play out of town,
Right.
I play different.
Right.
I mean, we sit there.
Like they put on 10 songs in the span of, like, they don't.
It's that level of aggression, but
They get songs in and out.
but see, you know what did that too though? Serato.
No, cause I remember I would see Kid Capri. He'd be running through records. Boom, put that on.
Kid
Boom.
Capri is an entertainer. He's an entertainer, and yes, you're correct. But it still was nowhere near as fast as it is now.
Nah, right.
Because it's like now people are more concerned with showing off their skill set, their skill set, than they are in sharing a vibe with you. And that's why, like you said earlier, like I don't play too much mainstream, you know what I'm saying? Because I know the mainstream stuff work.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show y'all that there's other dope stuff out here that you could you could vibe to, and you know what I'm saying? You know, I always end, if I'm the last DJ, I always end the night with some down tempo stuff. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be neo soul, whether it be some jazz, whether it be whispers, I always end on a mellow note. And that's like the equivalent of, you know, a nightcap.
Right.
You know, you didn't have dinner, this, that, and third, you just have a little drink before I take it down.
Right.
So, because it always puts you in a relaxed state.
Now I notice I don't see you spin with the laptop.
No.
Why don't you spin with the laptop?
Because I feel like it takes away from the, you know, the direct conversation. If me and you having a conversation this whole time, okay? We've been live for, good God, we about to wrap this up. Hour 38 minutes. We got plenty of, we're gonna come back and do this some more. So, we've been doing this whole thing, an hour and 30 minutes. My phone went off one time. If we were having this conversation, in between every sentence, I was doing this. At some point, you're gonna be like, bro, I'm gonna come back when you finish. And it's like, even if I could simply be reading questions that I wanted to ask you.
Right.
So it's not like I'm being rude, but it's taking away from the flow of the conversation.
So you feel that takes away from your conversation?
I feel like people want to see a DJ.
Right.
They want to. It's an exchange of energy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, I've converted more people that didn't like house music simply because of my energy, not because they actually liked the music.
Right.
They fell in love with, bruh, you be up there rocking.
Right.
I'm talking about like
jokers
that just came home on some
Let me tell you something. I say it's the exact same thing. I just had this conversation with a young comic, and I was taught this. A guy named Kenny Williams, a veteran comic from New York. When I was coming in the game, and I was first time hosting my own comedy show. It was Ruthie's over in Jersey City. Spot on, you know, it didn't have 1,000,001 names, right on Martin Luther King Boulevard.
It was the old Winnie's.
It was Winnie's. Actually, it was Winnie's back then.
Winnie's.
Right. So I'm like, yo, give me some. He's like, yo, just have fun. And that was the biggest thing. So I tell that to young comics because that's what I built my career on.
Yeah.
When people know you're enjoying yourself and you're into it.
If they ain't doing nothing but pointing at the DJ booth going like,
if he in it, right.
See it? Like,
right. You're telling them like, yo,
this joint hot.
Right.
Right.
Like I'm in this, yo. You better. You know.
When I do talk on the mic, you know, cause again, you know, I don't talk on the mic a lot, whatever. But after I done had a sip or two, you know what I'm saying? Once I'm in my zone, I'll have a little fun with the crowd, whatever.
Right.
And I'll say things like, yo, y'all don't look like y'all having enough fun. Let me explain something to y'all. I'm getting paid to be here. Y'all had to pay to get in here.
Right. So you have some fun.
So y'all might as well go ahead and loosen up. We're gonna be here for a minute. And just that alone will break the ice, because I'm not changing the music. You know what I'm saying? Like we still gonna be doing this.
Because I noticed like some DJs, like specifically like the top tier guys, they don't really rock with the laptop. They don't rock with it.
I mean, not for nothing, this is a computer.
Right.
They gotta keep, look, You know, I wish I should have turned my camera on, but like, look, it's got
Everything is there.
it's got a keyboard and everything. Like, look, it's all there. I can type all that. Like,
Yeah, but even the ones without it.
you can still search.
Right, you can still search, but
Yeah,
but you know, like the Serato, it's now it's
Listen,
doing
it's-
blends for you.
I mean, listen.
Now, you know, you can really line it. So you feel like that's cheating?
No, I feel like it's a tool,
It's a tool. Okay.
and I feel like to each his own. I mind my business. You know what I'm saying? Listen,
Now, I done seen some cats get wicked with the stuff.
let me tell you something. I'll never forget when CDJ 2000 first came out. I was a Serato guy. I was a Serato with turntables guy. Let me say that. Because I liked to play with, but I had CDJs. I was still playing with CDs. But I was a Serato guy as well. More so.
Turntable Serato.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was engineering at this club called Whip in Greenhouse in the city, where Drake and Chris Brown had that big fight. And this dude named Steve Powers walks in. And this joker had, literally, he had a headphone pouch. I was looking for it so you can understand the size of a headphone pouch.
I know where you're going with this.
All right.
I know where you're going with this.
He requested that it was a specific CD player in the booth. That CD player was a CDJ 2000 that had just came out. This joker walked in that club at, I want to say, 12:30 at night. Place is packed. Hey, what's going on, bro? I'm the headliner for the night. I was a sound engineer, lighting engineer. You know, stuff I like to do on the side. And then he looked, he was like, hold up, aren't you a DJ? I was like, yeah. He was like, you play Deep House, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, Beloved. I'm like, yeah. He was like, dude, I'm from Wayne. I used to come here, you play at Divas. So we hit it off with, I'm like, but okay, but where's your book bag? He was like, oh no, I'm ready. This joker had his headphones in 3 flash drives.
You know, and I knew you was going with this.
He plugged them flash drives in, and this boy went to work for the next 3 hours.
Went to work.
I mean, and he was having a ball. I'm like, and he was having fun because he ain't looking at this computer.
Right.
I feel like
It's your attention is right.
because
Right.
you
I got you. Right.
because the computer is like giving a kid too much free time.
Right. I know what you mean. Right.
You got all of your music right at your fingertips. So sometimes you find yourself in a space where you got so many choices you can make right now, musically, that you get locked into this
Right.
space of, and you find and you see they're
Download
doing
stuff.
this.
Right, yeah.
They're doing this the whole time.
Right. But your attention is right in there. Right.
It's a room full of people that
And
want to see
connect
you
them,
do
right.
stuff like,
Right.
yeah, this joint dope, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they get into that.
Was it hard for you to switch over? Were you one of the DJs who didn't want to switch?
I
from
didn't
wax
want to switch.
Serato?
I didn't. I was absolutely one of them. I was absolutely one of them. I just listen.
You didn't want the Serato laptop.
I still have records. Like I did
I
not.
seen Biz. I seen rest in peace, Biz Marquis. I was at I think it was Super Bowl in Houston. Biz was down there. You know, cause he from Jersey, so you know him and V, they down there. So he going to the club. We had Puffy party or whatever. So I'm in the booth because I know Biz is DJing that night.
Right.
So Biz comes in. I'm looking for at that point it was the CD books. CD books.
I had a book that was so
Right.
big it was on wheels. It was like a carry-on suitcase.
He walked in. He had a little wallet like this.
Hard drive.
Right. It wasn't even. It was the flash drives.
Oh.
He opened it up, and he had like 6 flash drives in there. And I'm like, V, I'm so used to them carrying book bags, you know, something. I said, that's all y'all roll with? Because they going from party to party. We had Puffy party
Right.
at the Super Bowl in Houston. He got on it and went to work. He was done.
Time to go. Time to go. And, you know, that's the thing. It's like, yes, the inconvenient part is if someone doesn't have a CDJ that is up to date and this, that, and the third. Because then that's when you got to bring out all the stuff. But for the most part,
But even you still can put your drives in the back, right?
bro, I show up to a gig. Look, it's plugged in right there. See that little plug? I show up to a gig with my book bag, bro. If we don't need to bring this out, we don't. But, you know, if I do, I do. Because I'd rather perform with my tools.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know.
So what's your typical on the go?
CDJ 3000s, 900 XS2 mixer, 2 hard drives, and some headphones. I could, if you got a XDJ 1000 or a CDJ 3000, I just come plug this hard drive in. I could rock out for hours.
So now you get somewhere and they don't have one. But you still gonna go
I
work.
can play on whatever's in front of me.
Right. But
You
you'd
know,
rather have that.
that's my preference. That's what's on my contract rider. You know what I'm saying? But if I have to plug in a laptop, I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't about not knowing how.
Right.
You know.
But see, that's what I was saying. I was telling you about those other, when we was off air. I was telling you about the other DJs. Like, if you can play, you can play. Dude went to work on somebody's son's Newmark that was missing the fader buttons and all that. But he went to work.
Yeah.
Then the other DJ came in with the whole casket, and it was just like song. Like, he didn't make the music.
It ain't the car.
Right.
It's the driver.
Word up, bro. It was crazy, man.
And you know, that comes down to relationships. That comes down to jobs. That comes down to careers. That comes down to hustle. You know, sometimes it ain't the car. It's the driver. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you got jokers out here that was raised in a household with both parents, and both parents had successful jobs,
Go the other way.
had all the cars in the driveway, and
Still go the other way.
have kids that can't stay out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? You got jokers that, you know, used to wake up in cold houses with the oven being used as a radiator,
Turn
and
up
now they living in mansions.
doctors.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like you can't discriminate who will rise to the top. It's just, you know, the driver gotta wanna win the race. But you know, it's like,
How long we been going now?
man, we've been going too long, boy. You need to
All
come
right.
back.
Yo,
You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. We gonna wrap this up,
We gonna
man.
wrap this up.
Because I'm definitely coming back. We gonna do some things, man. Y'all gonna
Absolutely.
see us. We putting some things together, man.
Yes, sir.
It definitely was a pleasure coming here. I'm actually in the BPM studio. I
Yes.
see you all the time. I'm here. Yo, man, I can't wait for these people to see what we got coming, man.
Oh
We
yeah,
got
we
some
definitely.
things. We got some things in the work, y'all. Definitely, man. Check out. I got a lot of things popping off myself.
Absolutely. Jonathan Martin, y'all.
Yeah.
Jonathan
Holla
Martin
at me.
7 on Instagram, Twitter.
And I'm getting better. I'm one of the old school dudes.
Yeah, you
So I
gotta
need to
promote-
start posting. But see, let me tell y'all something, man. Back in my day, it was all that braggadocious, like, it wasn't cool. Like, yo, man, knock it off. So now people want to know. So listen, I'm going to start letting y'all know. I'm going to let y'all in. You know what I mean? I just hate going somewhere like, hey, look, this is what I'm eating. AA batteries. Don't that look good? That's just not me. But I'm going to start doing it.
Thank you so much for saying that, because
What?
listen, let me explain something to you. That is me all day. And
Don't tell me. I thought he was gonna tell me I need to wear a pocketbook.
Nah,
now.
because I'm
I'm kidding. Stop. We're gonna save that.
Hold
I'm just
on.
kidding. I'm
No,
kidding.
but seriously,
Yo, listen.
because I get cussed out all the time about not having enough social media presence. Dog, if I'm outside, I'm outside. It ain't nobody business. I'm outside.
That's
where I'm at, what I'm doing.
It's the wave, man. We got to get better. We got to get better.
Hey, listen,
We got to get better.
You know, thank y'all for tuning in. This has been another episode of the BPM DJ Beloved podcast.
Was
And
B is BPM, right?
Yeah,
BPM. I had it right.
Yeah, you had it right. You always had it right. You ain't never mess it up. You know what I'm saying? But thank you again to my brother Jonathan Martin for coming through. And like he said, man, we got some stuff.
I'm coming back. We can talk for hours, man.
Yeah. So y'all keep it locked right here. Peace.